Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video series, I want to focus on building the Cloudy Adventures website. And right now, if you go to cloudyadventures.com, you'll be greeted by a landing page, which is not very exciting. So the website is currently powered by WordPress. So I initially chose WordPress because WordPress is one of the most popular platforms to build websites on. According to the data from W3 Techs, it shows that over 43% of the internet is powered by WordPress. So just about half of the internet is powered by WordPress. And not only that, but of all the content management systems, the foothold that WordPress holds is about 60%. So that means from all the content management systems out there, over 60% are powered by WordPress. Despite WordPress's popularity, looking at a static site generator like Hugo, I think this might be a better fit for what I want to do with my website. I'm not a Hugo expert by any means. I've dabbled in Hugo maybe once or twice a couple of years ago. So in other words, I will be learning Hugo, and I thought it would be really cool to document that entire process of me installing Hugo, setting up Hugo, configuring Hugo. So if you're interested in seeing me learning Hugo or watching me struggle my way around it, stick around. Alright, so first things first, let us check out the official Hugo documentation. So it's a good idea to get familiar with this site because we will be coming back here a lot. So we can see here, we can start at the quick start section to get started with installing Hugo. And here we can see what we need to get Hugo installed. So we can learn how to create a Hugo site in minutes. So first, as we go through this tutorial, we'll see 1, create a site, 2, add content, 3, configure the site, and 4, publish our site. So before we begin, let's go over the prerequisites that we need. So it says here we need to install Hugo and install Git. So I'm currently using a Mac and I'm going to use something called Homebrew. Let me just pull up the Homebrew website. So what is Homebrew? Homebrew is basically a package manager. So you can think of it like an app store, but for your command line. So it makes installing, updating, and removing software a lot easier. Now today, if you want to install an application, you have 2 options. You can download the DMG file, install it, and at the end of the process, you click and drag the application into your applications folder. The other option is just to go to the App Store on the Mac OS and install the apps from there. However, with Homebrew, it allows you to install all the applications from the command line, making it easy to update all your apps at once. So if you're on a Mac and you do not have Homebrew installed, it's very easy to install. So here from the website brew.sh, you just copy this command and put it into your terminal and it will download and install Brew for you. Since I already have Brew installed, let me just switch over to the terminal and we can install Hugo. So now that we are at the command line, I can just type brew just to see that I have brew installed. So it's very easy to actually search for applications and install applications using brew. So if I want to search for an application, I just do brew search and then type Hugo. And you'll see 2 things. You'll see Formulate and Cask. So Formulate is a command line installation and Cask is a GUI installation of the application. So some apps will have both, some apps will only have one. So let's install Hugo. Since I already have Hugo installed, I'm just going to show you how you would install the application. So you do brew install and then Hugo. I'll just hit enter. Since I already have Hugo installed, I got a warning, right? Hugo is already installed and up to date. Now we also have to install Git. So the same process, you do brew install Git. I already have Git, so I can just verify the version. Just do Git version. And if I want to do the same thing for Hugo, I can just type Hugo version and I can verify I have both these applications installed. So now we can get started to installing Hugo. And a little keyboard shortcut, because if you want to clear your screen, you can just type the word clear, or you can just hold Control and L. Alright, now that we have verified that we have both Hugo and Git installed, it is time to create our site. So let's go back to the Hugo documentation, the quick start guide, and we have already verified the Hugo version. So we will enter these following commands to get started. So the first command, the Hugo new site quick start, it just creates the directory structure for our project. Let's go ahead and do that. Hugo new site quick start. Next, let's go ahead and navigate to that directory that we just created, or that project. And you type ls, you can see what's in here. So you can see all the contents. If you type lsla, you can see a little bit more information. Now the next step is to initialize an empty Git repository. We do that by doing git init. And now the next steps is to install a theme. So I'm just going to choose a theme that is provided here in these instructions, but I'll have another video showing you how to select the theme and how to apply that theme to your website. So we're just going to copy and paste this documentation here. And what's going to do is going to download this theme from this Git repository. And it's going to add it to the themes folder, which is in our project folder. Now lastly, for us to apply the theme, we need to append this line to our configuration file. If I do a cat Hugo Tomo, you can see that there is no theme line. There's no line for theme. So once I do this and I do it one more time, cat Hugo Tomo, now we can see that the theme is applied. And lastly, for us to run the development server, we just type in Hugo server to see those changes locally. So it's going to render the site. As you can see, it was built in 41 milliseconds. Now we just have to open this up in localhost. I already have it open here. And we can see our Hugo site is up and running. All right, awesome. Now let's go back to the Hugo site so that we can continue on the next steps, which is to add content. And I'm just going to copy and paste this here. So what this is going to do is going to go, there is no post directory yet, but it's going to create that, and it's going to create this post. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we can see this first post was created. So using your favorite text editor, go ahead and open and modify that file. I will be using NeoVim. So NeoVim. And here we can see at the very top something called front matter, or the metadata for your post. So this essentially shows us the title of the post, the draft, whether it's true or false, the date, and additional details that you can add later on. And we'll go over that in more detail in another video. So by default, as we can see from the documentation, Hugo does not publish the draft content when we build our site. But let's add some information here. So we're just gonna add introduction. Oh, okay, I gotta type better. And then I'll say this is my first, and I'm gonna add it in bold. Post. I'm gonna go ahead and save this file. So if I was to run the server like I did before, and I'll show you, you will not be able to see that post because by default the draft content is not published. So what we can do to publish the draft content is you continue to scroll down. You can see right here it says Hugo server -d or -- build drafts. So let's go ahead and try that. We'll try Hugo server -d. So we can see here, go and refresh our page, we can see our first post. And we can kind of also see this when we look at the command line when we run the server. As you can see here, prior to me using the -d command, just Hugo server, which is up here, you can see 10 pages were generated. However, after I did the -d, 11 pages were generated. In other words, our draft content was generated as well, and we can see those changes locally. And what's really amazing is that when we have this running and we make any modifications to our file, so let me go ahead and open up a new tab and you can see what I'm talking about. So let me navigate to quick start and let me just go to the content, to that post. And I'm gonna make a brief change to this file. So this is cool or something like that. This is cool. Go ahead and right quit. So as you can see, those changes are made live. And then when I go back to the tab, as you can see here at the bottom, it says changes detected, rebuilding site, and you can see what changed. So I think that's really cool about Hugo. As you use your development server, you're able to see live all of your changes and before you actually publish them to, you know, wherever you're going to publish them, whether that is GitHub pages, which I'll show in another video of how we can publish this to GitHub pages. And now the next step is to configure our site. So this is modifying our configuration file, which is the hugo.toml file. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do and just switch tabs one more time, and I'll open up the hugo.toml file, and we'll see some default settings here. So like base URL, we want to obviously change this to whatever our URL is. Language code, it supports more than just US. You can put Spanish, you can put Brazilian, you can put French, you can put many different languages, and also the title of your website. And this is where you will make changes. When you install a different theme, you have to go in here and use the name of that theme here. So whatever the name of the theme is, you just replace it on Nonke with that name of the theme. And lastly, what you want to do after you get all your settings correct and you got your content and you want to actually publish your site, the last step is just to enter the Hugo command. And what this is going to do is actually gonna, as you can see here, it will publish your site but will not deploy it. You type Hugo, you can see here, start building your site, and then it's completed in 62 milliseconds. So that's it for this episode. We've installed Hugo, we created and configured a new site, and we ran the development server. And we also published our site. Obviously, it's not available now publicly on the internet. Throughout this series, I plan to cover everything from basic site customization to more advanced topics like working with data, creating dynamic layouts, and deploying our finished website. I also will be documenting any issues and errors that I encounter along the way, so I want to have a video on troubleshooting and optimization for our website. If you found this video helpful, consider giving me a thumbs up to help my channel grow. So if you want to learn Hugo with me, please subscribe so you don't miss any of it. As you follow along with me, I hope you're also building your own website. So I kind of want to know, what kind of website are you planning to build with Hugo? So let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.